beautiful facility. And we hope that as residents of Red Bluff and Tehama County that you share our enthusiasm. And however, there is another reason why we are here today, and that is to honor a woman who devoted her entire professional career to serving children and families in Tehama County. So yes, Kathy, that is why you're here. Now, Kathy McGinnis was first hired by Lassen, Modoc, Plumas, Tehama. Is there more counties? Or was that it? I think that's it, yeah. That's a long name. Community Action Agency Incorporated, back in 1971. That's a year after I was born. Now that agency would later become known as Northern California Child Development. Now, it had been 14 years since Kathy last had a job. And that is to say, at least a job that she got paid for. Because she was raising 7 children. That's a pretty big job. Now, during that break in her employment record, she had been raising her family comprised of 7 children, as I said. Now, Kathy is the perfect example of how a person with ambition and a willingness to learn and work hard can climb that corporate ladder. Kathy's first position with Head Start was as a cook. And I remember a conversation I once had with Kathy where she told me that she was already feeding the classroom, so she may as well get paid for it. And so her career began. And then in 1973, Kathy shifted her career from the kitchen to education. And she became a teacher assistant. And a short while later, she was promoted to a home visitor position. She then held the position of Education Social Service Parent Involvement Coordinator. Was that 3 different jobs or all one?
That was all one.
That's a long job description.
In 4 counties.
In 4 counties. That's tough. That's tough. So I'd hate to see that job description, that's for sure. Now, in 1980, Kathy applied for and was given the position of Head Start Director, and her career in management had begun. Now, as best as I can put together through rifling through your personnel file, some juicy stuff in there. Kathy became the executive director around 1990, give or take?
I would guess.
Yeah, okay. And she served in that capacity until she finally retired in 2007. No, we were sad to see you leave, for sure. Now, keep in mind that while Kathy was moving from job to job over those 36 years, she raised a family of 7, and she also found enough time to continue her education and received her bachelor's degree in social science from Chico State. So that's quite an accomplishment. So overall, she had a career that spanned roughly 36 years. So we're going to round it up to about 40. Because even though she's been retired for the past 5 years, she still serves as an ambassador for Head Start and an advocate for children and families in Tehama County.
Yeah.
Now, I had the privilege of working with Kathy for about 5 years. She was wonderful to work for, and I learned a lot from her. And a lot of that helped prepare me for this role where I am now the executive director, which I took that position 2 years ago. Kathy treated all of her staff with the utmost respect and viewed everyone as an equal. And I remember I just saw a conversation with one of our staff and Kathy, and she was saying how she'd only been there for a little while, but every time she walked into the office, Kathy remembered her name, and she knew. She always said good morning to her. And I was a fiscal officer for a long time, so I knew everybody's name because I saw it on their paycheck, but I had no idea what they looked like. So for Kathy to know not only what they looked like, but to remember their name, kudos to you, Kathy, because that was something that took me a long time to do, and I'm still trying to learn that. But she treated everybody, with genuine kindness and courtesy. Kathy listened. She gave us as staff freedom to be creative, and she trusted us to do our job. She created an environment of collaboration, compassion, continuity in class. And Kathy and I developed a great relationship, not only work, but I think we became very good friends, and I do consider Kathy a dear friend. And not just a boss. She's a genuine lady. And I would often kid around with Kathy and tease her, as I often do with all my staff. And so I don't think Kathy will take offense when I say you're one cool old lady. Now, before I close, I want to let you know how honored I am to be able to do this for you today. I know many of the people here have known you and worked with you much longer than I have. So I not only represent NCCDI, but I represent every person here and those that couldn't be here when I want to say thank you for all that you've done for us. Now I'd like to leave you with some final words that Kathy wrote herself back in 1980. So this is what she wrote. Head Start gave me the opportunity to go to college and has in general changed my life. Instead of waiting upon the fates to see what would happen to me, I find each of us has many options if we only assess ourselves to use them. The positive effect of the program on children, parents, and staff is a satisfying experience for me to observe. The effect of an environment which allows people to grow, experiment, and achieve is incalculable in the development of a human being. That's very well said, Kathy. Well, Kathy, on behalf of NCCDI and everyone here, I want to thank you for your leadership over the past 40 years in which you created an environment where your staff could grow, experiment, and achieve. So now at this time, I'd like to ask Kathy to come forward and accept this award for her many years of service to Tehama County. So ladies and gentlemen, Kathy McGinnis.
Yay! You can take a picture, honey.
Okay. That's great.
Care to say anything?
Well, the big secret that everybody's been whispering behind my back about certainly unfolded very nicely. I am just so proud of this organization that they were able to get the Early Head Start program. We wanted it for 15 years. And I wasn't willing to write a grant for the minimum amount because you could calculate how much it was going to cost to have infants and toddlers, and just the personnel costs of one person to every 2 infants is huge. And luckily, the powers that be came around and evolved with other funding methods so that actually it could become a reality. So the dream is happening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One more. But do it one more time.
Oh.
Together with the, yes. Please.
Hide the bag. Sorry.
Hide the bag.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yay!
All right, we have one more little surprise, and then after that, we have some refreshments inside, and it's pretty much an open house. You know, we want you to be able to take a walk through the facility and see for yourself what we've done. Lori very generously put together a poster board with some before and after pictures so you can really see what the transformation it made. Yes, Denise.
Ryan, I just wanted to let the group know one thing. I grew up in Tehama County, and my mom was a working mom, and I just wanted to let the group know that the place to have childcare was at Mrs. Becker's. And for all the working moms in Red Bluff, that's where you went. She provided that service. And Mrs. Becker lived in this house.
Oh, God.
And I had childcare right here in this house. And it was after school care for many, many years. And in the summer months, she took care of all of us. And we would go swimming and everything. So when we talk about the stars aligning, and I found out that this was what they were looking at, I'm like, oh my God, Mrs. Becker's. and so anybody that had childcare in Red Bluff, this is probably where they were. My brother and I were here. And I remember that there used to be a big, huge walnut tree right here that we used to play in and around. And in here, the facility, yes, we use the bathroom. Many of us use the bathroom here. But one thing that she did for us is that she was a big proponent of physical, outdoor activity. and she created a lap that we would get to ride our bikes and tricycles around in this area. So I don't know if there was any asphalt, but it was tarred. And so anyway, I just wanted to add that, for historical purposes. And so, I'm in my early 50s, so, back, when I was a kid, all of us that needed care, Mrs. Becker was here. And so to be able to have this here and for me to be able to have a part in it, along with all of you is just great. So I just want to thank you.